Well, I'm currently Compliance and AML Manager, and I'm an acting MLRO for the company I'm working for. So that does entail quite a bit of responsibilities, obviously from compliance side, from anti-money laundering, financial crime, reporting. So I have quite busy days nowadays, yeah. It happened to me recently, but I'm enjoying it. Well, at the beginning, actually, I started working in, financial crime prevention. I fell into that absolutely by chance because my degree was originally, I have a master's in linguistics and cross-cultural communication, which had nothing to do with compliance. And I started working for an online retailing company, and obviously fraud was a big part of that. And it got me very interested in the field of how you can detect and prevent in future potential fraud cases that you might have within a company. So I started with that, and later on moved into more financial crime and anti-money laundering, and finally I reached financial services about 3 years ago now. And I'm predominantly doing compliance and anti-money laundering, so altogether it's probably about 7 years. Well, to be frank, I enjoy the fact that, and I'm sure you heard that before, every day is very different, and because I'm involved in all three parts of the industry, each one of them is evolving on a regular basis. So you have absolutely fascinating cases, what you have to deal with daily, and I'm not bored. I like to be challenged, and this is exactly what I'm getting with compliance. It's an interesting question because I do hold a lot of interviews nowadays to recruit into my teams, and I think the main thing I'm looking for is not a skill as such, but you have to have common sense. You have to be able to perceive, understand, and interpret the situation on a spot very quickly and very precisely, and this is exactly what you need to do. So it's problem solving, it is managing your time. You have to be very organized in the amount of things that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So multitasking is vital. And finally, diplomacy. You have to be diplomatic because you're dealing with internal stakeholders, with external stakeholders, sometimes with clients. And the news that you're bringing sometimes are not the best and not the most pleasant to hear, yet you need to present them in a way that everyone is comfortable with the situation, you can move on with your job. Technical knowledge does bring a lot to the table. So if I have someone across me who's mentioning recent developments in regulation, even though it's not to the T and they might not necessarily understand to the detail what exactly they're discussing at the time, but it does help. So you have to keep abreast of what is happening, and you have to research the area quite a lot. In addition, that will help the candidate themselves to understand whether they actually want to be in that field. Because there is a mixture of understanding that compliance is pretty much legal work, whereas in fact it is not. So you have to understand what you're getting yourself into, as much as that would help you during the interviewing process, definitely. Work experience helps a lot. Yes, you can get as much as you can from theoretical base, but without your understanding of how that is going to interpret and translate into the company, that is going to be quite hard. So any experience you can get, definitely go for it. And even if you're in a role that you might think has nothing to do with compliance or anti-money laundering or anything along these lines, you will come to a point in your career where this information is going to be useful. So even if you're working as a cashier on the till, you will know how to handle cash, what can happen with a card, and in future, if you're ever moving into financial crime prevention, that experience is going to help you. So even if you're in a junior role elsewhere, you ask questions, come to a manager and get as much information as you can. This is always the best way to learn. Well, I myself done quite a few by now, and I would say once you have the qualification on your CV, yes, that absolutely does help, and it gives an understanding to the recruiter and to the employee that you know what you are going to be doing in your future career. You might not have obviously practical experience on how that is going to implement within the company, but you have the theoretical base, and obviously with experience that will come. It is a developing market, definitely, and I can see a lot of demand for individuals who do have qualifications, who do have experience. So it's definitely a highly valued industry at the moment. And with the recent developments in regulation, whether it is EU or whether it is US, which is influencing the whole world, it will only grow. A lot of resources at the moment in any company is spent on compliance, and compliance is predominantly individuals, so this is your knowledge, this is your education, exactly what you're going to be bringing to the company. So absolutely, stepping into compliance is a good way forward.